Please welcome the Scripps College class of 2018.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. I'm Mark Heron, Chair of the Scripps College Board of Trustees. On behalf of all the members of the board, many of whom are on the platform with me, it is my pleasure to welcome you to Scripps College's 88th Annual Commencement Exercises. To the class of 2018, today is a milestone for you. It is the culmination of years of hard work, and it is the beginning of the next phase of pursuing your goals and dreams. I congratulate you on your accomplishments, and I commend your focus and discipline in rising to the challenges of the academic rigor that define a Scripps College education. Today, each of you takes the very significant step from student to alumna of the college, joining thousands of others who have gone before you. That includes my mother, who 73 years ago graduated from Scripps. She will be the first to tell you that Scripps, the education she received, and the friends she made here have been an enormously important part of her life. And I am so pleased that she is in the audience today. This is my last commencement as board chair after serving on the board for 21 years and as chair for 4. It has been a tremendously rewarding experience and an honor to serve the college. On July 1st, Lynn Thompson, class of 1972, will become board chair. Scripps is an inspiring place that cultivates exceptional individuals. So we know that after 4 years at the college, with your new degree in hand, you are prepared and ready to make your unique contributions beyond Scripps. We know that what you have learned at the college will transcend the years you have spent here. And in time, probably very soon, you will play important roles in this complex and changing world. To the parents, families, and friends of today's graduates, I extend a special welcome. I know the pride you must feel today. Savor the moment and enjoy the ceremony. Now it is my pleasure to turn the proceedings over to the president of Scripps College, Dr. Laura Tiedens.
Thank you, Mark. I'd like to echo Board Chair Mark Heron's warm welcome to today's commencement ceremony. I know the graduates are thrilled that so many of their loved ones are here to share this very special day with them. We stand here together to acknowledge the fruits of their hard work over the past 4 years. And it is heartwarming to witness the expressions of pride, joy, and hope on so many of the faces in our audience today. I hope you have taken a look at the program for today. It's far too long to read right here and now, but what you will see in it are the topics of all of our seniors' senior thesis. We are a college that requires that all of our students do a senior thesis. It is the culmination of the Scripps educational experience, and it reflects the importance of research, independent critical analysis, and faculty-student interaction here. I think you will see from what's listed in the program that the theses demonstrate how the academic rigor of the curriculum distinguishes our students and prepares them to be lifelong learners. I congratulate each of you seniors for completing such very ambitious work. We are proud of your academic accomplishments. This thesis process is made possible by our distinguished faculty. The faculty are both the authors and the guardians of academic excellence on campus. Our faculty are not only educators, they serve as mentors, colleagues, and ambassadors for our students. I have no doubt that each and every senior graduating today has a story to tell about the ways in which a professor or professors have shaped and enriched their Scripps experience, and I encourage you to ask them about it. I'd like now to ask that our faculty please rise to accept our acknowledgement and gratitude for ensuring a premier educational experience for every student at Scripps. I'd also like to thank the many Scripps staff who are committed to cultivating an exceptional educational and residential experience for our students. Scripps is so fortunate to have skilled and dedicated individuals on our facilities, maintenance, and ground staff who ensure this beautiful campus remains an essential part of the Scripps experience. Our talented, hardworking employees deliver stimulating co-curricular programs and activities to strengthen our community. They help our students through personal and academic challenges. They ensure that our students have hot and delicious meals every day. They also provide meaningful work and volunteer experiences, both on and off campus, that help prepare students for careers and for life. In short, the staff are here to ensure that the college experience is exceptional, unique, and memorable. The ceremony that we will experience today and other events throughout today and yesterday really could not happen without all of their work behind the scenes. So please join me in thanking the staff for their service to the students and the college. I would also like to acknowledge the crucial role of parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and other family members and friends who are here today. You are here because you have supported our seniors along their educational journey, and you are now here to celebrate the success of that. We thank you for sharing your bright, talented, and passionate students with us for the past 4 years. And we salute you for all of the sacrifices and investments you made for them. Thank you. Finally, seniors, I would like to thank you. You have committed your abundant intellect, creativity, energy, and enthusiasm to the Scripps community for the past 4 years. And I really can't wait to see what you will achieve as you direct your efforts to the world that awaits you. I do want you to remember, though, that you will always have this campus as a home away from home. It has left its imprint on you, and you have left its imprint on us. We will miss you, and you will always be welcome here. Come back and see us, talk with tomorrow's students, share your experiences and your passion. Here, on your last day as a student, recall and remember your own interest in meeting Scripps alumni. This afternoon, you join their ranks, and as such, you become an important resource for our future students. You have earned the recognition and honor that you will receive today. It represents years of hard work, lessons learned, and growth attained. There are many more opportunities and challenges that lie ahead. They will stretch, develop, and refine you. But I know that you will have an edge because of what you experienced here at Scripps. I also know that you become part of a powerful network of alumni who are leading organizations, communities, and movements across the globe, and they are eager to help you do the same. You leave here with confidence, courage, and hope. It's the senior class. I would now like to introduce our senior class speaker, Leslie Moreno. Leslie Ann Moreno is the daughter of Mexican immigrants, Antonio and Graciela, and is the first in her family to graduate from a four-year college. During her time at Scripps, Leslie has helped improve the community through her work at the Scripps Student Store, the Dean of Students Office, and Scripps Communities of Resources and Empowerment. As recognition for her dedicated work as a manager of the Scripps Store and as an office assistant and tutor coordinator for the Academic Resources and Services, Leslie was recently named this year's Scripps Student Employee of the Year. This award is given annually to an outstanding student employee who has made a unique contribution to the college and has demonstrated exceptional reliability, quality of work, initiative, and professionalism. Leslie found community here at Scripps through the First Generation at Scripps program and through Café con Leche. In a first-generation newsletter from her first year here, Leslie wrote of her homesickness during her first few months in school. Rather than dwell on those thoughts, Leslie confronted the issue by listening to music that brought peace of mind, and she surrounded herself with friends who, in her words, quote, not only made me feel better, but made me happy that I chose Scripps. After her graduation, Leslie, who is a Hispanic Studies major and economics minor, will pursue her passion in education as a bilingual teacher for Teach for America in Houston, Texas. Please join me in welcoming Leslie to the commencement stage.
Wow. Bienvenidos, familiares, compañeras, y amigos. First, I would like to recognize that we are on sacred Tongva land. And on this land today, we are celebrating a moment in our lives that we have long anticipated with excitement and fear. For many of us, this day has been one that was awaited alongside family and friends, while for some, it is a new experience, having challenged many expectations as first-generation students that is shared with our families, friends, and communities. Although we have shared Scripps for the last 4 years, we have each shaped our own experience within these ivory walls that hold many memories of laughter, tears, accomplishments, failures, and risks. As first years, we were enveloped in the beauty of Scripps, with its citrus-filled walkways and its fruit-filled grounds. We walked through the doors of Denison for the first time and nervously wrote our names in a book that solidified our presence and joined the classes before us. And how can we forget the delicious chocolate bread pudding at orientation that really sealed the deal, but most importantly, filled us with warmth and comfort. While we enjoyed the many beauties and delicacies Scripps had to offer, we all together were forming a new community for ourselves as the class of 2018. A community that has had its successes and faults. A community that many of us have continuously fought for to improve, not just for us, but for the ones that came after us and future ones to come. Through it all, we have asked ourselves, what is important to our Scripps community? How do we create the community we want? What can we do to make our students more involved in the transformative decisions of our campus? We look to fixing the materialistic aspects of Scripps and voicing the concerns that we believed addressed the need of all our students. But we did not recognize that within those decisions, the voices of the unheard and unseen communities were left out. Inside the walls of Scripps, there are many stories that are left unnoticed, many conversations left unheard and tucked away only for those individuals who shared it. I'm here today to make those communities present because they are the ones that many students have turned to when the Scripps community failed to hear and acknowledge them, and when our peers have caused us discomfort in the spaces that we have been told are safe and inclusive. After 4 years of trials and tribulations, we are taking this moment to be heard as a part of this celebration. For some of us, like me, sitting in these chairs feels like a dream that we thought would never become a reality. The frustrations and challenges of navigating academics, mental health, and our personal lives alongside multiple jobs have been ones that we have shared with those we trust in a dorm room behind closed doors, in a study space that we purposely take up to make our presence known, or in SCORE, one of the few spaces that was founded to center the experiences and voices that are erased on campus. On November 8th, 2016, when the country showed itself for who it was, while students were in the living rooms disappointed at the results, others felt the world stop because now the safety of their families, friends, and communities were added onto the never-ending worries they carry as students. Yet, they were the ones in class the next day doing what their families always told them to do. Tienes que seguir estudiando. Tienes que seguir adelante. As students organize for equity and justice on campus, their continuous labor is now being recognized for the countless hours of planning, sacrifice, and persistence in calling attention to the lack of institutional support, calling attention to the complacency of their classmates. This is to acknowledge the moments we held ourselves back from expressing what we truly felt in class, but most importantly on campus, because of the inherent expectations placed upon us as marginalized communities. We have faced many obstacles that have allowed us to look past the veil of aesthetics and notoriety and begin a new life viewing our environment more critically. While for some, the journey began in our first session of core, for others, including myself, it started as soon as we stepped foot on campus. As we acknowledge the challenges and difficulties we faced, we cannot leave without acknowledging the support and care we have given each other. Some of us met our greatest support systems before we even started at Scripps. DIVE, a program designed for admitted underrepresented students of color and first-generation students, gave me and many others friendships and relationships that have withstood the test of time since that day in April 2014. To the students who came before us, offered their knowledge, and shared their experiences, we would not have been able to navigate the complexities of the Scripps College experience without you. The clubs and organizations who created spaces for the underrepresented students, we want to recognize you. First generation at Scripps, DAIRA, Café con Leche, Watu Weusi, ASP, ASU, and family. For your commitment and work you have put in to make sure that the students you represent are acknowledged, visible, and heard. Our friends who have made themselves available when we needed it the most and allowed us to cry, laugh, and share space with them, even if it meant sitting in silence. We want to thank the faculty and staff who have shared their experiences, knowledge, resources, and support when we as students were unsure of our place in academia. We also can't overlook the work, effort, and genuine care of housekeeping, maintenance, groundskeepers, and the dining hall staff. Who are the foundation of Scripps and who have taken on the role as caretakers in a new place that we had to call home. Quiero extender las gracias a ustedes los trabajadores que ayudan a mantener a la escuela y que nos han apoyado durante este tiempo. Ustedes han sido una presencia familiar en este lugar desconocido. We have had a myriad of support systems throughout our time at Scripps. However, we cannot forget to thank the ones who are sitting before us, our families, friends, and mentors who have supported us from the beginning. I would especially like to recognize those families who are experiencing this event for the first time, including my family, and their persistence to make this opportunity happen. Quiero reconocer el esfuerzo de ustedes, los padres, que han sacrificado y trabajado mucho para que nosotras pudiéramos llegar a este momento en nuestras vidas. Although we cannot deny that this journey has been difficult, we can say that it has been a transformative and challenging experience. As we leave here to begin a new chapter in our lives, I want to remind each one of us that we do not have to be alone through it all. We will be able to carry the support we have here with us alongside another unknown journey. And we will have the confidence to create and form that support again outside of Scripps. Each one of us has the power to make an impact the same way our communities have had on us, and it is our decision to implement it in our future lives, careers, friendships, and commitments. Before you leave here, don't forget to reflect on what you have accomplished and what you have learned from your failures. And don't forget to acknowledge who have stood by you on this journey. Despite all obstacles and moments of uncertainty, I want to remind you, quiero recordarles, you can do it. Sí se pudo y sí se puede. Thank you all so much for your love and support. I would now like to welcome Laura Tiedens back on stage.
Thank you so much, Leslie. It is now my honor to introduce our 2018 commencement speaker, Ms. Charlene Hunter-Galt. The Scripps commencement speaker selection process differs from that of many other institutions. Here, our process is student-driven, and it strives to find a speaker that captures the values and ideals of the graduating class. This year, seniors indicated a desire to hear from someone who is dedicated to civil rights and social justice. Charlene Hunter-Galt embodies the type of woman that our college's founder, Ellen Browning Scripps, envisioned, one who lives confidently, courageously, and hopefully. Civil rights activist and award-winning journalist Charlene Hunter-Galt exemplifies the mission of Scripps College through her lifelong work and efforts to push boundaries and expand access and opportunities for others. She is the author of 4 books and is a sought-after public speaker with some 36 honorary degrees. Ms. Hunter-Galt's memoir, In My Place, details her experiences as the first Black woman to attend the University of Georgia in 1961. Her fight for admissions to the whites-only university is an inspirational story of persistence that includes an almost 2-year legal battle and ultimately the U.S. District Court ruling. After graduation, she began her journalism career as a reporter for the New Yorker magazine, to which she still contributes. In 1968, she won a Russell Sage Fellowship at Washington University in St. Louis, where she studied journalism. She left the university prematurely following the death of Martin Luther King Jr. and unrest across America to join NBC in Washington, D.C. She later joined the New York Times and established the paper's first Harlem bureau. She eventually moved on to public television into her role as a national correspondent and substitute anchor for the PBS's McNeil-Lehrer NewsHour. Ms. Hunter-Galt has won 2 Emmy Awards and 2 Peabody Awards. According to the Peabody citation for her work on Africa on NPR, she, quote, demonstrated a talent for ennobling her subjects and revealed a depth of understanding of the African experience that was unrivaled in Western media. Ms. Hunter-Galt has received numerous other awards for her work, and in 2005, she was inducted into the National Association of Black Journalists Hall of Fame, and in 2015, she was honored with the Washington Press Club's Foundation's Lifetime Achievement Award. We are so pleased to have Ms. Hunter-Galt here to speak with us. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to our 2018 commencement speaker, Ms. Charlene Hunter-Galt.
Let me say, first of all, greetings to the class of 2018 and all who helped you be that. Or, as they say where I lived for 17 years in South Africa, all protocols observed. My husband's not here to give me the so I gotta time myself here. I'm so very honored to be here for so many reasons, not least, of course, to remember your departed classmate, Tatisa Sunguzi. Now, we would call her now an ancestor. And like all ancestors I know, she is shining her light on each of you, and I hope on me today and always. For again, as the South Africans say, long live. The same could be said of Ellen Browning Scripps, for she left quite a legacy, not least in journalism. If she had been featured in the comic strips when I was about 5 years old and reading the comics at my grandmother's knee after she finished reading 3 newspapers, I would have probably used her, Ellen Browning Scripps, as my role model instead of Brenda Starr. And so it's so wonderful to see that she, who is also an ancestor, is a part of the gifts that keeps on giving to each and every one of you. So, Ellen Browning Scripps, long live. Now, let me hasten to say what Ellen Brown Scripps surely knew. Journalists must have a capacity to get excited about almost anything. And I have had some assignments that have really tested that. But I've had more that have confirmed my choice of profession lo these many years. And again, my excitement about being here today is not being tested, it's real. I also have to say that your letter of invitation, penned by Kaya Mark. Where are you, Kaya? Raise your hand. All right. Because you didn't have your picture in the, your senior class representative. That letter so eloquently stated what Scripps students are passionate about, not least your engagement in and passion for, in her words, making a difference in the world through conscious, meaningful change. After reading that, I was actually tempted to just get up here and read excerpts, Kyra, from your letter, including the one that speaks of your determination not to limit your horizons, then congratulate all of you, then do a drop the mic thing and sit down. But, there's another part of the letter that cried out to me. The part where Kaya said, so many of you have struggled to view the world in a positive light, given the political and social challenges of the past year. And believe me, given my various identities as a journalist, a woman of color, a woman with sisters of all colors, a wife, a mother, and an American citizen, I totally understand your feelings. Sometimes I've also struggled in all of those identities because in one, the journalist, I try not to take public positions because my job is to inform people, intelligent people like everybody around here, so that they can make up their own minds. But sometimes all of my identities collide. So I want to share with you that struggle, especially to try and understand the mindset that sanctions turning back the clock on so many of the hard-won gains of the generation I know best, the 60s civil rights movement generation that led us closer to a more just and equitable society and a more perfect union. And among the many developments that has also troubled me to no end is the toxic tribalism that is tearing at the moral fiber of our nation. It went underground for a long time, and now it has surfaced with a scary certitude. A disturbing example of that old saying, "We've been here before," or "What goes around comes around." And yet, I still have hope, as we used to say back in the day, that we shall overcome. Still, I sometimes remind myself of my sainted grandmother, who was a big wrestling fan. And I mean, even as she got to be in her late 70s and stuff. And one day, I had to shout at her when she was approaching the television set with a vase in her hand, poised to throw it at one of the offending wrestlers. And now, as I said, I often remind myself of my grandmother, although I don't have a vase in my hand, because my voice is increasingly that vase. Even this morning, but I won't go into that. And that's especially true when some vile tweet is put up on the screen that attempts to undermine my profession, calling us enemies of the people, a phrase I think was first used by Joseph Stalin, or that attacks some of my professional colleagues, sometimes in very personal and sometimes very dangerous ways. For example, my friend, the journalist April Ryan, who's a veteran White House correspondent who has covered 3 presidents during her 20 years there, and this year, for the first time, she has been verbally attacked by 2 different press secretaries and received death threats after asking the current president if he had thought about leaving office after the FBI raided the office of his personal attorney. And I most certainly threw my voice. If I had had a vase, it would have gone too. But anyway, eventually I calmed down long enough to do what I've been doing all my life, to strengthen my resolve to keep on keeping on behalf of the people I'm committed to serve, especially but not exclusively giving voice to the voiceless. And so, what I do, as I've always done when values I hold dear are challenged, I prepare to do righteous battle by polishing my armor, an armor that was created long before I was a journalist, an armor created of the enduring elements of our history. Now, I had a journalism professor who used to say somewhat enigmatically, we learn from history that we do not learn from history. But I believe we do learn, which is why I want to briefly share with you how prepared I am and always have been to do what I need to do. Righteous journalistic battle, especially in times past, and to go back to biblical history and Esther, the strong woman of the Bible, whose words in such a time as this is as relevant today as it was in her day. I do that in the hope of adding a tiny bit of polish to what I just heard from your senior class speaker is a very well polished armor. So, if you'll give me a moment to be personal, how was my armor created? Well, for that, briefly walk back with me to 1961, when I entered the University of Georgia under court order by a white Republican judge, no less, who understood the law that called for adherence to the 1954 Brown decision that outlawed the so-called separate but equal, but it was anything but. Remember this name, Boodle, 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 because it's going to come around again in a few minutes. When students opposed to the order gathered at the entrance to the university shouting ugly racial epithets, one in particular that is now referred in polite circles as the N-word, excluding the rappers who don't refer to it as N-word, but you know about that. Anyway, I found myself looking around for that person they were calling by the N-word. For I had an entirely different identity, thanks to the armor I wore. And it was created by people in an era when they were forced to live under separate and unequal laws. But when they couldn't give us first-class citizenship, you know what they gave us? What they've given you here. They gave us a first-class sense of ourselves. For example, every year, to help make up for the deficits created by the people in power in our little poor black school, we often got textbooks with the pages torn out. Needless to say, none of the people in power look like us. Now, the reward to the family raising the most money for this annual fundraiser was that their little child would be crowned king or queen. Well, when I was in about the fourth or fifth grade, my family, my mother and grandmother, because my father was off serving in the war, had raised the most money, and I was crowned queen. Well, the notion that I was a queen took up residence in my head, which, while it was on my head, made me insufferable to my classmates for a few days. Because after a few days, their teasing got me to take the crown off of my head. But the notion that I was a queen remained in my head and in my heart and in my soul. So all those years later, as I walked through these mobs shouting the N-word at me, I was looking around for who they were talking about because I knew it wasn't me, because I was what? You got that? That is what I call mental armor. Now, the other layers of armor were created by the history that was taught in our homes, in our schools, and in our churches. A history that included women like Phyllis Wheatley, a woman who found a beautiful, poetic voice despite her not-so-beautiful status as a slave. And no, Kanye, that was not a choice of hers. Not for her or for Harriet Tubman. Well, well, never mind. Anyway, it wasn't a choice for Phyllis Wheatley, and it wasn't a choice for Harriet Tubman, who led so many of her people to freedom at great risk to herself. Or Ida B. Wells, a crusading journalist not unlike Ellen Browning Scripps. Wells campaigned against the lynching of black women in the late 1800s, and her words, like Esther's, are as relevant today as then. For she said, "The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth on them." To me, that's the mission of servants of the people, telling the truth with integrity. I could go on about the armor crafting inspiration that has guided my journey to the horizons, a phrase you will no doubt recognize that I borrowed from the incomparable, who? Somebody know? Zora Neale Hurston, I know you know. Also, long live. For even now, even after her ancestordom, she is getting good reviews for a book that's just been released called Barracoon. It's the story of one of the last survivors, U.S. survivors, of the transatlantic slave trade. And that is so important to help those who don't understand the lingering burden of that history and why it lives with so many of us today, and which, alas, is not being taught in far too many of our schools. But some of you will become parents, if you're not already. You're not, right? None? That we know of. But anyway, some of you will become parents, and it will be important for you, if you have children, or if you have friends who have children or relatives, to teach them how to react to bullying and not participate in it. It is important, but what they are seeing today and hearing from prominent adults is publicly bullying, using vile, cruel, sexist, and disrespectful words that are, and so it is important as ever in such a time as this to create a layer of armor for those children. That is, just conceive of a layer of armor that is inscribed with words like respect, kindness, good manners, passion, compassion, and grace. I see so much grace right in front of me. It's a wonderful word. And it's never too early to start creating that layer of armor for our young people, but polishing it in yourselves. To be sure, you are graduating in what can clearly be described as the year of the woman. I mean, I so anticipated this day that I started clipping articles about women in newspapers and magazines. I'd be at the grocery store and I'd see a woman's face on a magazine. I'd grab it and start reading it to share it with you today. And I started finding all these women who are involved in changing the world, others who are in breakthrough roles, women demanding their rightful place. Even for the first time, one woman, a senator, allowed to breastfeed her infant on the Senate floor. I thought that was such a beautiful picture. Some women have achieved their rightful place in the world, but there are also those who must fight on, not least for equal pay for equal work, for demanding justice in case of disrespectful men and sexual predators, for Black women who often get a double discrimination whammy, like the fact that African American women are the victims of wide disparities in health, including one of the highest rates of death during pregnancy or complications from delivery than that of white women. Although white women, too, make up the shameful fact that more women in the United States are dying from complications related to pregnancy than in any other developed country, and the incidence is rising. Also, no, don't let me get started on what happened recently at Yale or at Airbnb, but y'all can see that when you get through graduating. It'll be on YouTube. Anyway, as the stacks of paper that I was clipping grew taller and taller and spread out in sequence on my floor in the office that my husband and I share in our apartment, I finally realized I had hardly left any space for the civic awards and golf trophies he has amassed. But then I comforted myself with the thought that after 48 years together, he gets me, okay? And so it got worse. And he never said much. He looked kind of funny about it, but anyway. But especially as I watched the Oscars and women speaking up and speaking out about the woeful lack of gender parity in Hollywood. 95% of the men who people who make decisions in Hollywood are white men. And their words were inspiring and sometimes challenging. And I was also thrilled to see for an Oscar nomination for the first time, a woman for choreography. It was Rachel Morrison for Mudbound. I don't know how many of you have seen that. But she was also the cinematographer for, what was that? You got it, Black Panther. I was so inspired by those women and those at the Golden Globes that after the Golden Globes, I flew immediately to Los Angeles and I interviewed Tracy Ellis Ross of Blackish and also one of the principals in #TimesUp. And she told me this, and I think it's important for those of you who are so involved in helping to do things in your community and focused on changing the world, to keep this in mind. She said, I think that one of the things we're all discovering is that abuse and discrimination and sexual violence is supported by a system of imbalance, and that it is structural, remember that word, structural, and not personal. Although particular experiences are personal, but that the structure makes space for that allows that kind of behavior to exist, and it's something else that needs to be changed. But Tracy also said that this is not a magic moment. It is a moment for such a time as this. And it's going to require, she said, everybody getting involved and staying involved. Now, of all the inspiring words she used that day, for me, what was the most important was her emphasis on staying involved. Now, I was very close to many of the leaders and foot soldiers of the civil rights movement of the 60s, probably before I know you weren't born, and I imagine some of your parents weren't born, but that's neither here or there. They say engagement in the world inhibits aging, so I don't mind being 76 because I stay engaged in the world. Here I am today. But anyway, I was close to many of the leaders and the foot soldiers of the civil rights movement, and some of the sacrifices they made, including when the young women, about your age, many of them, and some younger, were put in cells, jail cells, for demonstrating with women who had committed crimes as severe as murder. And as you would recall, some of them who joined the movement, or as I would recall, some who joined the movement were also themselves murdered. And by the way, it helps to remember that whites as well as blacks died for our freedom, which is one of the reasons I continue to urge people to stop saying white people this and black people that. Generalities are not sufficient or even accurate in speaking about who is zooming who, as they say. At any rate, let's be careful about that. But that aside, here's something I know for sure. Women were the backbone of the civil rights movement. Black and white women together. And the walls of segregation came tumbling down, allowing so many of us to reach heights never before possible. But my dear friend and attorney, back when I entered University of Georgia, Vernon Jordan, likes to say, when walls come tumbling down, what is left still to clean up is the rubble it generates. And now, far too many of us are still struggling with cleaning up that rubble, dealing with all the things. What's the word now you all use in the academy? I have a hard time pronouncing it, but I think it's called intersectionality. Y'all know that because you've been here and you probably use it. I'm still trying to get used to it. Anyway, I see you know what it means. But added to that are the cultural fears among many whites. I said many whites, I didn't say white people. Sparked, many experts agree, by the prospect of today's racial minorities, people of color, soon becoming this country's majorities in the next 20 some odd years. And yet, what makes me hopeful, among other things, the people I have met and interviewed for the PBS NewsHour series, Race Matter. People who have solutions to racism that are applicable to other bad isms, and I guess intersectionality. One is the Reverend William Barber. He's the initiator of something called Moral Mondays movement and the resurrection of Dr. King's Poor People campaign, who told me in one of my Race Matters conversation that his work is about bringing poor peoples of all colors together to help end the seemingly bottomless desperation many of them suffer. Now, that's that's where so many people today are trying to create bad stuff between poor white people and poor black people to make them think they don't have the same things in common and that one is going to take something away from the others. And that's where I think Reverend Barbara's movement is so important. But now let's go back to when I look at the history of the fight for equality for women, especially in my lifetime. I just told you how old I am. I remember how important it was, but also how divided those movements were. Most black women felt that the white women's movement was all about white women and their specific issues and not about them, and black women felt the same way in reverse. And each separately made some strides. But today's movement holds out the promise not only of a coalition of those two groups, but also a coalition of the generations. You see, I want to be with y'all. I want to march when you march, okay? This at a time when the current president has appointed more federal judges in his first term than any president in history, and what's more, they are young, mostly white males, all conservative, and if confirmed by the Senate, appointed for life, which means they are likely to be sitting throughout your lifetime. But this is where my identity as a citizen and as a journalist comes back, but especially as a citizen. Because, and I told you to remember, what was that man I named? I told you, Boodle. Okay, here comes Boodle again. He was a white, male, Republican, and a Southerner in the days of segregation when separate was not equal and white people there in the South felt they were supreme. But he was, in all of those identities, he was committed to abiding by the law of the land. And as a citizen who benefited from that decision, I am hoping that these justices, newly appointed, or not all of them have been confirmed yet, will follow in Judge Boodle's footsteps and preserve, if not expand, the gains that have led us to a more diverse and inclusive union. And I am also hopeful that the gains that were added in voting rights and civil rights, which are now under threat, will be preserved by those conservative, mostly white male Republican judges, because I'd like to think that they too are citizens who care about our country as we all do. So, I urge you all to stay woke on that. Stay woke on that in whatever way you choose, in keeping our country moving forward. Now, my young sisters, because I'm not talking to y'all, let me reiterate, well, we can talk afterwards over a glass of wine, but I want to talk to you right now. Let me reiterate what you clearly already know and what my conversations with your leadership here has confirmed. We had a great conversation on the phone the other day with your president and a couple of other people. And it is that you keep on remembering how important it is, not only what happens in our country, but in the rest of the world. Just look at how the women's voices in America have inspired women in societies across this world that have been dominated by domineering men for centuries, sometimes at great risk to themselves. And here again, I raise my voice when I hear pronouncements from some of our leaders that tear at the fabric of that garment. Martin Luther King said, we're all wrapped in a single garment of destiny. So when I hear places outside of our borders referred to in negative terms, it affects me because I'm a part of that universe. And I can tell you from my travels all over the world up to now, that is, especially all the women who bear the brunt of extreme poverty, people everywhere have been inspired by what this country has stood for, its moral values. And I have seen firsthand what they are talking about. In war-torn Sudan, for example, I reported for NPR the exchange between former President Nelson Mandela's wife, Graça Machel, and the women who were forced to flee their homes and were now living in encampments. When they told Mrs. Machel that the rations that they were forced to get meant that they had to go beyond their encampment into the forest where there were many soldiers who were not their friends. When they told Mrs. Michelle said, "Why do you have to go into the forest?" She said, "Well, our rations are scarce." And so she said, "Well, why are you women going? Why don't you send the men?" You know what the women said? They said, "Oh, no. The men would be killed. We would only be raped." That was a reality in that village. Later, I interviewed Mrs. Michelle for Essence Magazine, and I asked, what could women in America do to help women like that? And she said that it would be great if some women physicians came over to attend the women who had either been abused or who have had no attention to their normal needs. Failing that, she said they could just write letters, letting them know that there were other women in the world who were aware of their plight and simply that they cared. She said, "You have no idea how important that would be to those women." And from what I have also learned about this class is that there are those among you ready to take up the crusading baton of help and hope on distant shores. Long live that commitment. Now, this and all other issues confronting our nation and our world require us to be good citizens, regardless of our professional identities, and not just raise our vases, but our voices. To that end, I invite you to take a page out of my book and continue to prepare yourself to make good choices by asking good questions and by finding the places you believe are providing you with good information that will help you continue to be good citizens. For example, as much as my former employer, the New York Times, is blasted these days, I have long found op-ed columnist Nick Kristof's pieces on women in the world to be spot on. I highly recommend them. His most recent one calls for the long-stalled International Violence Against Women's Act, requiring the U.S. to tackle gender violence around the world and work with other countries to reduce it. That's something that could take place here in our nation's capital. And Kristof writes, something I'm sure you all know, when millions of girls and women are brutalized, we are all diminished. Now, in asking you all to put as one of your priorities seeking good information, not least by asking good questions, I'm not asking you to be my competition, not as journalists, although I know some of you who shall at the moment remain nameless are heading that way. Where is she anyway? I haven't seen her today. I know you're out there somewhere, a nameless person. But I'm asking each of you to join me, each in your own way, continuing to be good citizens, eschewing, among other things, the rubble of disinformation. And I urge you to continue to be aware of what really is fake news and not news, and don't use the term, please, because despots all over the world have now picked it up and are using it, and that's not a good thing. But, very quickly, and I'm about to close. You glad? Getting good information is downright hard work. I remember what former Secretary Madeleine Albright, one of your former speakers here, once said during a panel I was moderating, and someone criticized something they thought was inconsistent with United States values, democratic values. And she said, "Honey, don't you know? Democracy is messy, and it's hard work." And she said it just like that. And that is why you have the kind of armor that you do, to do righteous battle, even when it's exhausting, remembering always the promises of democracy, however messy it gets. This will also help you, I hope, engage with others who don't hold the same views as you do, be they political, social, or personal. That has become increasingly difficult in such a time as this. But I interviewed Northwestern University professor of psychology, Linda Tropp, who told me on one of my conversations about the need to persevere when people have tried and failed to break down barriers. She said, it's like trying to learn to play tennis at first. You don't hold the racket right, but you keep on practicing. That spoke to me. When you're first learning a language, she said, you're not automatically fluent. Those skills take time to cultivate. And that's what she means by learning how to communicate with people who don't hold the same views as you do. But sometimes when you work so hard, you may get a little weary. But as Roxane Gay put it so well, when you do get weary, take the time you need. There is no shame in that, so long as you remember to extend your empathy as far as you can when your emotional stores have replenished. So in closing, let me just say that although at 76, I'm considered, I guess, an elder, but I try to stay woke. So what's going to keep me woke? Because I'm not planning to go anywhere anytime soon. What's going to keep me woke is the good noise you make, each one of you, in Teach from America and wherever else you go, noise that may result in blowback, but your well-polished armor will have your back. So, what I'm saying to you today, class of 2018, long live. Now, can you just indulge me and help me with this? As I say, class of 2018, long live. And I want to hear it. Class of 2018, long live!
Thank you so much, Charlene. At this time, I would like us to pause to remember Tatisa Sunguze. Tatisa was a beloved classmate, mentor, and friend to so many of our students graduating. And I know so many of you are missing her today. Earlier this year, the faculty and the Board of Trustees of Scripps College voted unanimously to award Tatisa a posthumous degree for her many academic accomplishments during her time at Scripps. Her name is included in the commencement program with her classmates. Please join me now in observing a period of silence as we honor Tatisa's degree, her life, and her impact on our community. Thank you. I would like to now introduce Vice President and Dean of Faculty, Amy Marcus Newhall, who will present the class of 2018. I would also like to invite Vice President of Student Affairs and Dean of Students Charlotte Johnson to join me for conferring of the degrees.
Student marshals, please escort the candidates to the stage. President Teetens, I have the honor of presenting 226 candidates who have been recommended by the faculty and approved by the Board of Trustees for the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Graduates, as I call your name, please come on stage to receive your diploma. Carmen River Abbey, magna cum laude. Tyra Summer Abraham, cum laude. Mercedes Veronica Udama, cum laude. Eliza Gabrielle Adler, magna cum laude. Morgan Albrecht, magna cum laude. Lida Alice Ames. Roma Amir, cum laude. Kylie Jean Au. Pearl Auden, cum laude. Sarah Elizabeth Daffron Balderston. Giovanni Barrios Arciga. Catherine Boffman. Sarah Colette Batista, cum laude. Chloe Nicole Baselin, magna cum laude. Megan Kathleen Belden. Melanie Biles, magna cum laude. Michelle Blanken. Aaliyah Bolton. Laura M. Boruso, cum laude. Laura Broderick. Emma Browse. Sarah Elise Brummel. Sarah Breik, cum laude. Sophie Morgan Burns, cum laude. Chelsea Aaron Burrows, in absentia. Olivia Butts, magna cum laude. Ellen A. Carlson, magna cum laude. Holly Caspi, summa cum laude. Julia Lynn Chambers, magna cum laude. Christine Chow, in absentia. Yu Ming Chen, in absentia. Alexandra M. Chang. Rui Chang. Karen Louise Chisholm, cum laude. Marley Coe, summa cum laude. Ariel Sky Colin Landy, cum laude. Rose Beatrice Conlon, cum laude. Andrea Conover, cum laude. Nia Renee Cooper. Keala Coty Stemmerman, cum laude. Allegra Cox. Jean-Claire Daigle. Sonia M. DeMello, cum laude. Olivia Del Garcio, cum laude. Catherine Alexandra Webb de Palma. Laurel Dickstein, cum laude. Ellen Hughes Dolan, cum laude. Dima Degla. Alice Doyle, magna cum laude. Sarah Dupree, magna cum laude. Madeline Edwards, cum laude. Lauren Eisenman, cum laude. Jennifer Ekholm, magna cum laude. Maya Summer Ellis, cum laude. Elizabeth Francesca Eprecht, cum laude. Marielle Epstein, cum laude. Teresa Faltasek Gibbons. Mariah Ferris, magna cum laude. Michelle S. Fang, magna cum laude. Danielle Aaliyah Ariel Ferrer. Madeline Tripty Ferry. Nilufar Franklin. Taylor Audrey Gala, cum laude. Caitlin Ande Gaylord. Rachel Geller, summa cum laude. Merritt Catherine Gon. Kamaya Gokhale, cum laude. Justina Goldbeck. Hallie Rebecca Goldstein. Alana Gabrielle Gonzalez. Evelyn Marie Gonzalez, cum laude. Jenna Gories, cum laude. Lane Elizabeth Gowdy, cum laude. Amy Joanne Griffin. Christina Arcidi Grizonzio, magna cum laude. Carla Melissa Guerra Lemus. Sabrina Gunter, magna cum laude. Asha Gupta, cum laude. Madeline Marie Guyette, cum laude. Suzette Guzman, cum laude. Taylor Haas, magna cum laude. Sienna Hacker, magna cum laude. Amelia Joselda Hagen, summa cum laude. Noor Hamdi, magna cum laude. Ria Honda, Lauren Hartz, Vanessa Regan Hayes, summa cum laude. Shelby Alexandra Hain. Annette He, cum laude. Audrey Lee Hector. Madeline Helland. Emma Linnea Helms. Emma Caroline Herlinger, summa cum laude. Claudia Hernandez, magna cum laude. Prisma Herrera. Hannah Rose Herzl. Mary Jacqueline Human. Clarity Jane Huddleston, cum laude. Ariel Mei Ling Fu Hurwitz. Sharon Huyn. Nicole Jacobacci, magna cum laude. Cynthia Nika Irobunda. Miriam Frances Jaffe, cum laude. Marie Nicole Jeffroy Maynard, magna cum laude.
When you get to Madeline McDonald, the trustee is going to present that, so if you could ask her to join her at the podium.
Okay. Erica Johnson, cum laude. Natalie Marguerite Johnson, cum laude. Charlotte Gina Jones, magna cum laude. Emily Monroe Joyce. Sarah Victoria Juarez. Rachel Kaiser, cum laude. Jillian Sky Kaplan, cum laude. Rainey Kaplan. Laura Amy Kent, cum laude. Rosemary C. Keppel. Mary Ashby Knack. Krista Bodile Knighton. Barbara Coe, cum laude. Anya Kraus. Kelly Kwan. Faye LaFawn, summa cum laude. Tiffany Lagerstrom, cum laude. Dominique Stanfield Lee. Yu-Ching Lei, cum laude. Myla Lesh, cum laude. Ching Wen Liao, magna cum laude. Stephanie Lim, summa cum laude. Lily Lyle. Emily Claire Longley, cum laude. Ruchika Majumdar. Isabel Sophie Mann. Kaya Mark, cum laude. Veronica Mark, magna cum laude. Zora Emily Martin. Mariah Elise Mastrodimos, summa cum laude. Aaron Matheson, cum laude. Rachel Matthews, cum laude. Ishbel McCann. Jennifer McDonald, will you come to the podium? Ellie McDonald. Oh. Coming up next, Madeline McDonald. Emma McElroy. Bryn McKillop. Cydia Medina, cum laude. Mahulet Malaku. Savannah Ray Melberg. Lena Maharet. Rachel B. Miller in absentia. Holly Mitchell. Charlotte Elizabeth Moore, cum laude. Leslie Ann Moreno. Emily Mueller, cum laude. Rachel L. Nair. Rachel Gabrielle Newberg in absentia. Kristen Nishimura, cum laude. Samantha Nuno, cum laude. Abigail Claire O'Brien, cum laude. Edith Haisel Ortega. Ren Elmsley Osler. Jessica Lynn Padover, summa cum laude. Francesca Isabella Palomara. Martha B. Parker. Margaret Patella, magna cum laude. Bridget Anya Payne, magna cum laude. Kelly Pang. Bridget Pronzatelli, cum laude. Maya Presti. Lena Percher, summa cum laude. Hannah Judith Quackenbush, cum laude. Grace Reckers, magna cum laude. Anna Nickerson Reich, in Esepcha. Samantha Richards, cum laude. Mary Catherine Eby Riley. Nicole Rishwain, cum laude. Montana Watson Roberts. Camille Sacristan. Clarice Salazar, cum laude. Cecilia Sombrano, cum laude. Mandeep Kaur Sandhu, cum laude. Ernika Sanon. Molly Axman Santa. Marissa Scow, cum laude. Ella Sean, summa cum laude. Koshin Sharma, magna cum laude. Jennifer Ann Sheasley, cum laude. Keely Marguerite Shinners, magna cum laude. Alexis Ann Shoemaker. Naomi Shroff Mehta. Sydney Lee Sibelius, cum laude. Tova Simonson, cum laude. Bandana Singh, cum laude. Michelle Aria Singleton. Emma Edelman Snyder, cum laude. Shannon Song. Talia Speaker, cum laude. Lydia Starr, cum laude. Lauren Stanislaw. Isadora Rose Steiger, magna cum laude. Atel Stefan, cum laude. Rebecca Stewart. Emma Sue. Madeline C., cum laude. Mari Cisco. Naomi Christine Takeuchi, cum laude. Ellie Jan Ta, cum laude. Alisa Taylor, magna cum laude. Grace Theme. Maya Yolande Thomas, cum laude. Helen Arlene Thomason, cum laude. Blair Marie Thompson. Elise Gedank Thompson. Hannah Vogel. Si Wen Wong, cum laude. Eva Simone Weiner, magna cum laude. Ilana Ruth Weisberg, cum laude. Amanda Huai Chi Wen. McKenna Claire Werner. Suzanne Elizabeth White. Lindsay C. Whitlock, in absentia, cum laude. Madeline Graham Wilson. Sophie Elizabeth Wolbert, cum laude. Dina Walloshin. Sarah Wong. Trini Wong, cum laude. Anyi Wong Lifton, summa cum laude. Laura Mae Woods. Emily Waskoboynik. Sarah Yagmai. Lily Shine Yang, magna cum laude. Ija Young. Sheeny Yip, cum laude. Teray Sydney Zemba. Evelyn Zapata, cum laude. Yasha Chung.
Graduates, please stand. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Scripps College, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree Bachelor of Arts. Please move your tassels from right to left. Congratulations. Please take your seats. Graduates, you now mark the end of your college career, and you will enter the next phase of study, work, or service. The world you are entering is full of gigantic challenges, big questions, and big conflicts. One doesn't have to look far to get a list. A few that might come up are the proliferation of nuclear weapons, devastating destruction caused by hurricanes, tornadoes, and earthquakes, the loss of privacy and security of personal information, crumbling political systems, sexual assault and harassment, terror and violence, addiction, socioeconomic, racial, ethnic, and gender inequality. These are the things that appear in the news every day. And they reveal the complexity of the world we live in and the challenges you will be called on to confront. Some of these issues are relatively new. They've emerged just in recent years, so we are in the earliest stages of figuring them out. Others of these problems have plagued humanity for centuries and are all the more daunting because the solutions remain so elusive. Today's challenges will require new knowledge, new strategies, and new leaders. Today's challenges call for Scripps College graduates. You can be the solution to problems that don't even exist. You can be the answer. It would be understandable if upon graduating today, you surveyed the landscape of the world and decided it was hopeless, wondered what difference you could make, and decided instead that you would just focus on your own plans, your purpose, and your path. In fact, I believe that there are many students graduating from many colleges this weekend who will do just that. But I know that will not be enough for you. You will continue the work that you have begun here at Scripps to imagine and design a better future for you, for those you know and love, and for those you don't know, who may seem other or distant from your own experience, but who also deserve economic security, quality health care, educational opportunities, freedom, and peace. The good news is that as you tackle these huge challenges, you will have resources, you will have tools, especially after your Scripps experience, that will enable you to make a difference in ways you have yet to imagine. Your tools include intellect. As your thesis projects so well demonstrated, you are able to produce great work. Your intellect has been honed and sharpened as faculty have challenged you to exercise your mind in the pursuit of more and deeper knowledge. You will use your skills as a writer, researcher, and orator to deepen others' understanding and expand your own wisdom. You have insight. Your humanities foundation has given you the ability to make connections between the past, the present, and the future. You will use your knowledge of human civilization, communities, institutions, and systems to see beyond facts, figures, or circumstances, and to interpret them in unique ways that take into account context, relationships, and perspectives. You have the skills of inquiry. Your Scripps education equipped you to ask questions. Don't stop asking questions. From the time you arrived, you've been challenged to use questions as a mechanism to clarify, enlighten, advocate, and problem solve. This skill will help you navigate ambiguity, understand more fully, empathize more deeply, and overcome roadblocks. You have innovation. At Scripps, you've been grounded and exposed to the arts through your coursework and through a rich array of exhibitions and performances at the Claremont colleges and beyond. This creativity has been embedded in your educational experience and will help expand your sense of possibility. You have the ability to influence. Your time at Scripps equips you to come to the world with a more complex view of what leadership, power, and influence can be. You spent 4 years in a place where those things are not defined by gender. And as such, you are particularly well situated to imagine and produce different patterns of influence wherever you go. You will use that influence to create conversations, to write new rules, and to open doors for others. I know that many of you have spent the last few months looking at the world and wondering what it will offer you and where your place is in it. I want you to know that the world is also looking at you, wondering what you will offer it. And answering that question, the question of what you will bring to the world, will also help you find the answer of what the world has for you. As you prepare yourself to enter the fray rather than stand on the sidelines, gird yourself for the messy, frustrating, beautiful work of living fully and producing good. I charge you to continue the work that you began here. Remain confident, stay courageous, and sustain hope. You do not have all the answers, but you are the answer. Congratulations, class of 2018. Graduates and audience members, please stand now and join conductor Chuck Ham and the Women's Vocal Ensemble in the singing of Thy Many Gifts. Thank you, Chuck and the Women's Vocal Ensemble. I invite each of you to join us at the strawberry reception and the dinner dance. Audience, will you please remain standing until the recessional is complete? The platform party will exit the stage, followed by the faculty, and then by the graduates. I want to once again congratulate all of our graduates on achieving the significant milestone, and family and friends for joining us and for your support over the years. Congratulations again from your now alma mater, Scripps College.